I have had some other responsibilities the last few years, like taking care of my mother, and that situation has changed, and the opportunity arose that I could do something that I've wanted to do for a long time, which is to run for public office. And when Riyad Mahaney said that he was going to be retiring, it seemed like the opportunity had presented itself. I have a long history with Ames. It's been central to my life since '73 when my parents moved here. I got my undergraduate degree here. I was married here and raising my son here. I plan to continue my life in Ames, so it's an important place to me.
My first question is about the city's 1% local option sales tax.
Mm-hmm.
Per state law, 60% of that must go for property tax relief and 40% to community betterment projects. City councils in the past have debated whether some of that 40% should be used to fund supplies and programs, or whether it should go to only to new programs and projects. How do you believe that the city should use that sales tax money?
Well, I understand that a portion of that 40% goes directly to access. And then, the way it was written, it's written as a portion of that is called community betterment or enhancement, and that is open to interpretation. I think it has probably been used in a way that for services that probably should be covered by property tax revenue, rather than that portion of the sales tax.
Cyrite is running a $250,000 deficit on general service and over $17,000 to contract out required Americans with Disabilities Act service with Heartland Senior Services.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe it's essential for Cyrite to offer citywide services, and how should Cyrite handle the disparity between revenue and demand for service?
I think Cyrite is one of the most important, or one of the many important things that makes Ames a livable city for everybody. Not everyone has the opportunity of owning a car, and we also have a lot of students who, for a variety of reasons, need to have access to Cyrite. I'll just leave it at that.
There's been a lot of comment in the last few years around elected officials representing all of their constituents and representing the people's will. What's your interpretation of these concepts and your philosophy about representing Ames?
The process of campaigning has been having the opportunity to go out and talk with a lot of different people, and it has been a tremendous experience. There is this huge learning curve when you're taking on something like this, even when you read the paper and you think you pay attention to Ames News Online and whatever. There are the details that you don't get, and people have been really open and generous about giving me information. And I think that that's part of the campaigning, but it's not. It doesn't stop there. Mm-hmm. That's what this is about, to be a true representative of Ames on City Council. You need to keep, and that's what's enjoyable about it. That's why I'm doing it, because I would have the opportunity to continue to talk to people, and because that's the only way I'm going to be able to make an informed decision, is to understand what everyone else is, how everyone else is understanding it, and what their particular needs are.
Do you think the city's budget is at the correct balance between cost of services and levels of service? And if not, what changes in city services or the budget would you like to make?
I'm not sure I understand. Is there something specific that you were...
I guess just a balance between how much, people pay and what they get for that. And if you see that people should be paying more to get more service, or whether services are, there are too many services, or...
Well, I don't think you ever have too many services, and I think that I don't think you ever have too many services. I think one of the things that is happening in Ames is that we are losing some population to jobs that are going from the public sector, and we're not restoring that those dollars coming into the community by increasing our private sector jobs, and that we need to be always looking at opportunities to increase our tax base so that not only do we have new things, but that we're able to continue to enhance what we have.
Do you think it's important for Ames to have a comprehensive land use policy plan?
Well, we do. I think we have a fabulous plan. Many years ago we didn't. I can't remember what year that new plan came in or was created, but we have, and it's a plan. It's not set in concrete, but we have a land use policy plan that was quite well thought out, in my opinion.
What factors would be important to you as you might consider a request to rezone property differently than called for in the city's land use plan?
That's what city council does. And planning and zoning. Opportunities arise, and I can't imagine that we would say, no, we don't want to do something because it doesn't fit this plan. The plan is flexible, it's elastic, it's, if something comes up, that's where we have this plan as a general idea of how we want to move forward. But it's always going to be something that we look at and say, do we need to rethink because something different's happened? And I think good councils look ahead. You look 10 years ahead. What possibilities are coming down the road? Not just what's this project right now. What's the bigger picture?
When an existing commercial entity sitting adjacent to a residential neighborhood desires to expand into the residential neighborhood and is facing opposition from residents, what factors are you likely to consider before voting on the zoning change request?
Well, and I think it sort of carries on from what I just said, that every situation is unique. Given those parameters, it sounds, if you had a lot of concern, I think you'd be looking at a variety of options for the local residents to consider.
As now defunct businesses with major flood damage have left the South Duff Avenue corridor, new commercial businesses are setting up. The result has been a change in traffic patterns, questions of access for some of the already established businesses, and concerns about where the next round of floodwaters might flow. What do you think about the city's development record on South Duff, and would you like to make any changes?
We've had new businesses coming into South Duff. South Duff is, it's a growing area. Flooding, I understand, and I've done a little bit of research on that, and I don't understand necessarily all the details of flooding, but the cost benefit of some of the plans are so minute that we kind of are where we are at this point in time. But is there something in specific that you were thinking that?
Well, I know I've done a couple stories on businesses that are upset, for example, when Walmart moved in, that they felt like traffic was blocking access to their business, or people being concerned about having to build up businesses several feet above.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I think there's people are concerned in general about flooding in that area. So.
Yeah, and I don't know the science behind how we address the flooding, but I will say about business, and I'm sure there are always different ways of having access to business, but I'm a believer in competition. And I think the more businesses we have, the better it is for Ames, not just wherever businesses want to set up, but in general, that we create more competition and we recapture that segment of the population that is going elsewhere, and that we have a small window of opportunity to redirect people back to staying in Ames.
The current council has a goal of strengthening neighborhoods. What does that mean to you? And would you like to see the next council keep that goal? What future city council actions do you think could help strengthen neighborhoods?
Well, we have a department run by Jeff Peterson, I believe his name is, whose job is specifically to participate in that endeavor. Neighborhoods are what makes a community. And we have some, Ames is a city of very distinct neighborhoods. And we have Somerset, we have downtown, we have the west side. And I think people who live in those areas want to hang on to that.